All right, what is going on, guys? Danny McDonough here with Devils Puck Luck and our post-game coverage as the Devils. Listen, this was a must-win going to San Jose, and we were scared at first, going down 1-0, which has happened many times this year. We have only scored the first goal 16 times out of 59 games. You look at the record books, it's kind of crazy to think about because every other team that this has happened to that have similar numbers, all dead last place. So it's pretty incredible what the Devils have done. Now their leaguing 20th comeback win, even though it seemed like an onslaught. The Devils winning 7-2. We were still down 1-0, and it looked very grim in that first period. Challenging the Sharks, playing really well. After the first 2 minutes, I thought first 3 shifts of the game looked a little sloppy, and I was a little nervous for the Devils there, but they got right back to it. They played well. The power play looked good that first opportunity. Just didn't capitalize, but they were moving the puck around a lot better with complete offensive zone time for what seemed like most of that entire power play. So, you kind of felt the Devils buzzing there, and you knew that something was going to come on, and they just needed to just take a step back and relax. But it felt like the same old story after the first period. And I know all Devils fans that stayed up late, it is 1:30 now. You're going to be seeing this tomorrow morning after a big win, a 7-2 win. But, we stayed up late. And we were pretty frustrated after one period. But second period comes around. Mackenzie Blackwood somehow gets injured. We know this all too well as Devils fans. Kakinen did not play too well tonight. We took advantage of a young goalie right there, scoring 7 times. And listen, this is what the Devils need to do. They came out in the second period and they played with passion, right? They played with that urgency that we continue to talk about that they need every single night. And we finally saw it. And big hats off, my key moments and key players of this game too. Some fans out there, some analysts will question Nico Hischier's ability to be captain and to lead this team. You saw him tonight with 4 points. He led the team. He was that driving force and that driving passion, that fire that the Devils needed, and really showed that urgency. He was given 100% every single shift, and he's playing hard. And the entire Devils team did play hard in that second and third period, with more heart, with more passion into this game, knowing that this was a must win. I look at it as the guys weren't celebrating on the ice, 5th goal on. Jack Hughes with that nice pass to Mercer, you just see him just tap his glove right going by because these guys know these are must win games. This has been a disappointing season so far, and you have to go into a place like San Jose with it's the worst team in the league. You have to go and you have to dominate, and you have to show that you are the team that is going to beat down on lesser opponents and not play to their level. And you saw that tonight. And Nico leading the charge. Jack Hughes, obviously, multi-point game. You love seeing Timo Meier. A couple of assists there. His goal was called back on an offside. But he played really well, too. Brad scoring. And you love to see the defense stepping up. I love seeing Kevin Ball rewarded for his great play with that goal. And, man, he has a cannon, so I want to see him shoot that puck even more when he gets into some open space as he's coming down the wing there. And so hats off to Kevin Ball. He's been our best defenseman, and you love to see it. He's in the plus. The plus minus we talk about. Is it important? Is it a misleading stat? I think for this year, it's kind of important because you saw it with when Jack Hughes struggled, when Luke Hughes struggled, and you see what Kevin Ball has done, his progression over this year. He's had some moments where he's really not played well in certain games. But you see him come back. You see him start to use his physicality more. And when he does, he's more successful. You see him use his body. You see that he's learning what type of game he needs to play at this high level, at the NHL level. So that to me is a big, big factor moving forward, that Kevin Ball is that caliber player, that he is definitely going to be in the NHL, and he's going to be a good player, in my opinion, moving forward. And you want to see it continue. And he's rewarded with the goal there. But I think he's been our best defenseman. You love to see Colin Miller and obviously Brendan Smith score goals there. Timo Meier with a great screen in front, too, on Colin Miller's goal. And those are the little things that the Devils need to do to really take the step forward, and you hope this propels them in a way that they look at this game as the turning point, in the final almost 24 games, 23 games left. Now's the time. It's no more excuses with injuries, no more excuses with the system. They know the system. Go out there and play hockey like you know how to play hockey, and do it with heart, do it with passion. And we definitely saw that tonight for the most part. I know the first period was a little troubling, coming out in the second period a little bit too, but the Devils dominated that game basically for 50 minutes, and it's what you need to see, from a hungry Devils team that go out west. It's not easy to travel out there and play your first game on the West Coast. And they handled it, and hats off again to Nico Dawes, who's been very strong in net, made some really important saves tonight. And these are the things that we need to see, that consistency. Even Toffoli was flying around the ice tonight. He looked a lot faster to me than he's looked in the last few games. And the one thing, if I'm going to pick on anything negative, and it's hard to, again, right, when the Devils go out and they dominate 7-2 against the Sharks, if I'm going to pick on one thing, it's still the softness. It's still, I want the Devils to play with more physicality, with more body work on the boards to really control the puck and to manage the puck well. When Palat makes big hits, and I know a lot of fans rip on Palat a lot for that big contract, and he's not earning it. But Palat does these things that clear up pucks for other players on his line. He throws big hits, and that's when you see high scoring chances. The same thing for Lazar. Lazar has been a feisty player all year. He's been great on the boards, great against the walls. He's really clearing up a lot of puck space for our star players and our quick players, to get those high quality scoring chances. So, hats off to Palat, to Lazar tonight, to Ball, that we're throwing some hits, but I want to see more. And that comes down to when Nemitz is basically what I thought was a boarding penalty, and you don't see a response. And I don't want, it's not necessarily I want the team to go out there and take a stupid penalty. It's not that I want that. I want to scrum though. I want someone having a conversation with who at Nemitz right there. I want our team to go over to him. And if there's a scrum, there's a scrum. If we take a roughing penalty, so be it. We take a roughing penalty. I wanted to see a challenge too after Nico was hit, after he scored that goal. I wanted to see a challenge by Smith. I know that we're up multiple goals there, but these are the things that you see around the NHL. It's still a big part of the game. That physicality and just standing up for your teammates and knowing that the opposition can't roll you over with big hits and there's not going to be repercussions. That is what the definition of being a soft team is. And unfortunately, there's that stigma around the New Jersey Devils that we are that team right now, that we're not going to be that tough team, that we're not going to grind out every shift. And I want that to change. And I do think that we're undersized. Obviously, these are things that Adam and I are going to talk about as the trade deadline approaches, and obviously throughout the whole entire offseason, and how this roster can be reconstructed. Not, I don't want to say reconstructed. Maybe I'm wording that improperly. Redesigned, retooled a little bit, because we have the core pieces, and you see it tonight when the Devils dominate the Sharks team. We have the core pieces, we have the players that we need to go to a level offensively that we can sustain, but when it comes to defense, when it comes to goaltending, that's what the question marks are going to be. And when it comes to size and when it comes to physicality. But, right now we need to enjoy this win. Going in there to San Jose and dominating as we should 7-2 is what needed to happen for this Devils team. And I really do think that coming into Friday's game against Anaheim, if we look ahead here, Anaheim's going to have a game the night before in San Jose and then have to travel back home to play the Devils. So they're going to be on the latter half of a back-to-back. We have 2 days off here before this game. There's no excuse. To me, even more important and bigger game for the Devils here. This is becoming a must-win, because essentially the Ducks have all the odds against them. They're going to be more tired legs, coming back from a back-to-back here. The Devils have to dominate this game as well. They're going to have fresh legs. They know what they need to do. They seem more confident coming out of this game, and it's exactly what we needed to do. Is you bury a team like this. Just bury them. You don't want to squeak out a win. You don't want to go to an overtime game and win the game against a bad Sharks team. You want to dominate just like this. And it started from the goaltending up. Nico Dawes, played very well, and he's earned that right to be that 1B if we do eventually bring a goalie in here. So, it's really good to see from Nico. And defense, yeah, you saw some mistakes still from Luke Hughes throwing blind passes up the boards. It's going to happen. We talked about him hitting a wall. And I think it's just that. I think the amount of ice time that he's had this year is very different for him. Grueling season. He's going to make those mistakes. But again, he's learning on the fly, and this is what's going to happen. And our guys being able to pick him up and play a little better defensively after the turnover is what you saw. Obviously, we have to eliminate those turnovers and odd man rushes and better play and more consistent play through the neutral zone from our D zone. But this is a step forward. And I know that it's not righting the ship. I know that there's still a lot of holes and a lot of deficiencies that the Devils need to address. Obviously the new voice, behind the bench, that doesn't change. Having a new voice doesn't change, but this is the time now where the Devils have the opportunity to move in the right direction. And I think that this can happen on the West Coast trip. If we come back with 6 points on a West Coast trip where we play some tough games after that against the Florida Panthers on March 5th, you're coming in there way more confident, and that's what we need to do, and just take it game by game and shift by shift and period by period. And I think the Devils still will have a fighting chance, to squeak into the playoffs and probably, in my opinion, be that third seed in the Metro. It's what it's looking like because, I think from what the Wings are doing, Red Wings won 8-3 against the Capitals today. They're scoring goals, and the Red Wings aren't going to slow down. Tampa Bay Lightning, a veteran team with a little less depth than they had last year and the year prior, but they're a veteran team and they have goaltending, so those are the things you look at for them to obviously push into the playoffs and have the advantage. And it's why we only have, a 15 to 20% chance right now to make the postseason. But you can't give up hope, and again, it's you look for the progress from players, but more so you look for the cohesiveness, the fluidity on the ice, with the guys. Adam and I will dive a little bit more into how each line played next episode. We'll have a preview for the game on Friday night. But, as far as the top line, this is a line you got to keep together. Nico, Timo, and Brat, you got to keep together. And I know that Timo is on his off wing on the left wing, but he played great. And he's played great on the left wing in the last 5 games or so. So, yes, his natural position is right wing. And I think we all want to see him there. And I think eventually it will happen. But there's a lot of things that are going to go into him playing on the left wing because he is a versatile player and he did play really well tonight. So let's keep that line intact. Please, Lindy, do not change that line. Going down up and down the lineup, with the 4 lines rolling, Jack Hughes, he just looked like Jack Hughes. He looked like he was determined to go out there and flip the script on what was going on the last few games for the Devils. And he did just that. He came out with emotion, he came out with fire, but he channeled it in the right ways where he was flying around the ice. He was back checking. He was even forechecking tonight, which was great. He's utilizing his speed, but he's playing against the boards, and you saw him win some puck battles on the boards, which of course, you love to see. And having him on that line with Lazar and with Palat, I think Rupp wanted to do just that, is really put him with 2 defensively responsible forwards that are going to win puck battles and be able to manage the puck a little bit better. So I understand why that line came to fruition. I know a lot of fans wanted to see Holtz on that second line, but Holtz struggled tonight. Holtz had a difficult night on his two-way game. That 200-foot game is what he needs to work on, and he's going to get there. You saw flashes of him, with an unbelievable shot. Man, the kid has a great shot and a great offensive IQ. It's just learning that defensive game and to really be able to manage the puck better through the neutral zone, and he's going to get better. After taking what was a questionable call, a soft call there on that penalty, he came out of the box and he had a great shift. So those are the little things I look for Holtz as he progresses through the season. 4th line, Tierney. Well, since we played 11 and 7, Tierney being the other guy on that 4th line, and a multitude of players getting double shifted. Tierney played well. He's been doing well with the faceoffs, and I think that's why Lindy Ruff wanted to keep him in the lineup over Nocek. But, in that 3rd line again, creating some opportunities and some points there. Halla was a little bit quiet tonight, but I thought defensively he played pretty solid down the middle. And defense, we were bending a little bit, but we didn't break, and that's the important thing. And Dawes picked us up, with some big saves. And after that one big save, we took the lead, Jack Hughes scoring that goal. So all in all, a great night. It's what you want to see. It doesn't minimize what's gone on with this team. It doesn't make things disappear with this team, but it is a good feeling and a good note. And I know everybody is tired today. So enjoy this win, Devils fans. Don't think too far ahead of the future right now. Enjoy this win today. I know you're a little bit tired, but it's a 7-2 Devils victory. We're going to see you guys soon. Adam and I, like I said, are going to jump on for a pregame as the Devils face the Ducks in Anaheim on Friday night. Until then, make sure you go and you follow us on Twitter at NJDevilsPL. And of course, on all our other social media outlets, Snapchat, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the TikToks, we are at Devils Puck Luck. Adam is at Adam Armbrecht on Twitter. I am at Danny the Face. Give us a follow, subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate all the support. Comment on the video. We want to hear your thoughts on how you guys are feeling after this 7-2 victory. in San Jose, a must win, and we got it.